Absolutely, they wait in the semi-finals, but for now our attentions are on the quarterfinals. We can see our players taking the seats. For Bayern we see Mestre, and for Roma it is who is essentially the hero, the spoiler from matchday 7, Stifler, with that 1-0 win over the previously undefeated Etorito of Barcelona. A huge statement of intent from Roma to send him out first.
Yeah, and he'll enjoy that nickname. He'll enjoy being the spoiler because he's there to nullify. And of course, looking across the stage at who he's up against Mestre, who, as we know, is quite a bit of a hothead when he gets going, so you won't want to give him any type of motivation to get into that groove.
Definitely not. Another thing to note as well, Bayern München with their full contingent here today. We see plenty of those Bavarian shirts up on the stage. Maybe there's psychological warfare going on there.
It's nice to see them. It's nice to see Jay Victor back. It's nice to see Lutti back in the piece as well. Having that support system there is always valuable. So, you know, having those guys back in the building for Bayern, or certainly from a Bayern Munich perspective, they'll be delighted to have them there. Just a bit more backing to the team as a whole.
Well, a date with Barcelona in the semi-finals awaits one of these two clubs, and we can go now to the mix zone with Semra, who is with one of the Barcelona players. Semra, it's over to you.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. I'm very happy to say that for once I have a bit of a role reversal. I've swapped places with Weather, and I have the absolute honor and privilege of talking to you, my friend, Alex Alguacil of FC Barcelona. Huge day ahead. How you feeling?
Feeling great. It's been a long way to come here to this knockout stage. Everybody looks ready, and I will say we too as well. Just wait a little bit for our moment today.
You in particular, from day one, have been so determined, so driven, so focused to leave everything that happened in the past and come back stronger and to really show the world what we already know that you're capable of doing. So this almost feels in a way almost like you're a man on a mission this season, and you're coming very close to achieving that objective.
Yeah, I will say a man of mission, but for my own, for my teammates, for my people behind, Barca, family, because, at the end we are sacrificing a lot of our time training hard to be ready just exactly for this match day. And at the end it's excited. I mean, at the end the club is supporting us, surrounded, the results are there, but today is the final day, and we wish to give our best, and why not looking to lift that title.
And not giving away too much, because I know that your opponents are there. I mean, they're a bit focused right now, but there are others as well with open ears who are listening in on this conversation. But is there anything you could tell us about the game plan for today, what the three of you have in mind about how you want to approach the semi-finals and later on the finals if you make it there?
Well, honestly, being honest, anything different than a 2-0 for Bayern right now is going to be super strange. They are coming with 4 players, 1 coach. They are a completely squad, and also in team, they are a good team. This is one of the best 2 players in game, and also the roster is super strong. So I see them really favorite for this quarterfinal.
So you're in a privileged position where you get to watch them, because you get to come into the action, into the fold later on in the semi-finals. Do you have a preference? You just said you would be surprised if it weren't Bayern that made it against you guys in the semi-finals, but do you have a preference between the two as to who you'd like to play against?
Don't think so. At the end, Semra, you have to beat everyone to be the champion, if you want to be the champion. So Roma defeat us in the last match day. Bayern is Bayern. Looking forward to this quarterfinal and then our moment in the semi-final.
I like it. The attitude is just bring it on, guys, whoever it may be. Okay, one final thing I want to ask of you. Just a very quick message to send.
I hope everyone at home enjoy it, because it will be the highest level of eFootball around the world.
That it will be indeed. Thank you very much, Alex. Good luck to you. And I'm sure we'll speak to you later on in the day.
All right.
Thumbs up from Alex. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you very much to Semra, as always. Great to hear from Alex, ready for the semi-final later on today. Some fighting words in there, Wes.
Little bit diggy. It was just a little bit psychological, and a little bit of kind of psychological warfare. Saying, Bayern have got their whole contingent with them. They've got 4 players. They've got a coach. It's just a little bit of a seed of doubt in there, saying, oh, well, if Bayern don't walk away with the 2-0 here, I'll be very surprised. Again, it's a little bit of psychological warfare. It's nice to see within esports.
And I tell you what, if that's the common opinion of most of the league, then there's only one club it benefits, and that is AS Roma. They would happily play underdogs today. They've been there, done that on match day 7. All it took was, what was it, a single point they needed back then? They went and took all 3 in the first game with Gagliardo. So maybe we'll see him feature later on. But first, Stifler and Mestre. What a game we have to kick us off here. And Stifler, by the way, in fine form. 9 points out of 9 from his last 3.
Yeah, very much growing into the competition. And again, as we've said about form, and you see it a lot in real football where you hear pundits and analysts say, well, when they get into kind of the business end of the season, they start to gather momentum. That's the type of momentum that Stifler needed going into a knockout phase, is to just start to get that moment. And of course, cast your mind back to match day 7. It was only the regular season MVP, that he beat in Netarito. So again, real feather in his cap. His tail will be up, and this will be a tricky one if you are a Bayern Munich fan. Let it not be said that, as we said, underdogs they can come and bite you.
Well, that they can. You can see on your screens. We're just finalising our match lobby here. Roma versus Bayern moments away. Make sure you stay up to date with all the eFootball happenings. And of course, thank you for tuning in, and hello to wherever you're tuning in from in the world, our friends all over. No doubt you're not going to want to miss this. We touched on Stifler's form. 9 points from 9. That came after a 3-loss streak in the middle of the season. It's almost an opposite when you look at Mestre's form. He had 3 wins on the trot from match days 3 through 5, but before then, a draw and a loss, and after then, a draw and a loss.
Yeah, and then that's it. It's that kind of form that we're kind of looking at in terms of you have to start to build momentum in these phases. You have to start to create your own kind of look almost. And as we've said already, what has happened in the previous league season is now done and dusted. Yes, we can look back at it. Yes, we can certainly make some predictions based on the data that we have. The reality is knockout football. The minute this console goes on, all bets are off, and it's as though it's back to match day 1 almost.
Well, you're absolutely right, Wes. Can't wait to call this one alongside you. Stifler and Mestre, our show openers in the 2023 season eFootball Championship Pro knockout stages. We are underway. It is Roma versus Bayern. Mestre versus Stifler, and I tell you what, it's the former coming forward here with Tell, and Mane is there! 3 minutes in, and Bayern strike first. It's Sadio Mane, and it's 1-0 to Bayern.
Just goes to show you how one error down the other end of the field can cause a counter-attack that can be so precious. Again, Tell on the right-hand side. It all really came from that opening period of play from Roma. Tell forces the opportunity, makes Rui Patricio make the save. And of course, as we said before, when you get into those types of opportunities, the best thing to do is just take a strike, because the worst that a goalkeeper is going to do is make the save. Of course, the best thing is that he parries it into the direction of an oncoming forward. As we'll see there, it's Mane. You can see Smalling just tried to get his leg in there, and instead it is tucked away by Mestre, and it is an early 1-goal lead for Bayern Munich.
Advantage to Bayern then in game 1 of what is a best-of-3 series. If you've been watching all season long, we'll remind you throughout the show, it is best of 3 now. We will go to extra time and penalties if they're needed, because quite frankly, we need a result from each of these games we see today.
Yeah, there must be a winner over every game. Of course, as we will eagerly watch on, if it does go to a draw, you have that almost roulette of extra time, and then the added almost casino of penalty shootout that you have to go and play your odds in. I don't think any team will want to leave it to that stage. They'll want it done in regulation.
We heard it from Alex pre-match. He fully expects a Bayern 2-0 hit in this best of 3. So far, so good from Mestre. Looking at these two pre-match, I mean, both had scored 8 goals, both had gathered a similar points tally throughout the season. Mestre just 1 point behind his adversary here. Stifler, by the way, hasn't drawn this season, which lends itself to knockout football, because obviously you can't draw. But Mestre, a couple of draws to his name. So far, so good, though, with that early goal, 15 gone.
Thought match day 7 was tense. It is almost increased in pressure here.
And it is, and it's again that far side that seems to be a problem for Stifler as Sane cuts back. Who can he find? He goes straight for goal, and Mane's there! His double! A brace for Mane. 2 for Bayern, and Mestre in complete control now.
Copy C and copy P of my comment for the first goal. It's exactly the same type of goal. Instead, good turn inside there, and instead of putting the ball across, which looked like the most obvious thing to do, instead puts a strike on goal, forces Rui Patricio into the save. Mane is back there again. Because you see there, he just puts the stop on, instead takes the strike that pulls Rui Patricio out of position with the save, and Mane is there to tuck it home for 2-0. They have come to play, Bayern Munich. They have come to play.
Yeah, cool as you like from Mestre. I believe we're underway here following the goal that put Bayern 2-0 up here. A Bayern squad that looks very well drilled. You can see on the player cam, Mestre very focused and 4 men behind him. It's quite the backup he has in the Bayern contingent. For now though, Belotti looking for Abraham! And there's one back! It's Tammy Abraham, as he's done all season, heading it home for Roma. And we have a knockout game on our hands here.
Beautifully worked from both the big men that AS Roma have in attack. It's the beautiful ball in towards Belotti. He flicks it down with that long limb of his. And it's Tammy Abraham with the stooping header, which has taken the goalkeeper out here. As we'll see it again, stooping header. Goalkeeper comes out to try and parry it away. Instead, doesn't get there first. Abraham, the beneficiary. But Roma have announced themselves here right now. And now, as to steal a line from my co-commentator, it's game on.
3 goals after under 25 minutes here. It says we are going to see our esports players in this competition at the very top of their games here. We've seen Abraham do that type of thing all season, however, usually from a bit higher up. And, well, he's coming forward here again. Dybala, can he latch onto this? Oh, it's a nasty deflection. It'll only end in a corner, though.
Had to make the block. Had to make the block there. Sees that big-time Dybala. Gets the knockdown there. Very nicely done. Matthias de Ligt takes a bit of a painful one.
Well, it's the exact response that Roma fans would have wanted after going 2 down early on. Roma corner now. Dybala to swing it in towards Abraham. Cleared upfield, and you always have to watch Tell giving chase. He'll give that one, though.
Yeah, he's very much a speedster, is Tell. Spinazzola is no slouch either.
Musiala, Tell, that's lovely football from Bayern, and Mane now has a chance to finish this one. Mestre 3, Stifler 1. 30 minutes gone, 4 goals. Bayern the happier of the two, but it tells me this quarter-final match is not done yet.
Can't keep a hold of Sadio Mane. No, 3 goals from Mane, and he's using that pace, he's using that combination play in the right manner. You just see that really good through ball there from Tel, almost scuffs it into the path of Mane. And again, rather than overthinking it, Mestre just says, you know what, just going to hit it. And as such, it's the beneficiary. It's 3-1. Stifler's asking there, what more could I have done?
It's a difficult one to contend with, but the mission remains the same. Try and overturn this Bayern lead, and you'd argue, Wes, there hasn't really been too much control from either side, both just willing to put their best foot forward here, and Dybala can slide in. Abraham, oh, it's just beyond him though. No real control from either club so far, with 10 to go till the break. It's just been attack, attack, attack.
Yeah, it's just been capitalising on moments. It's been the moments that have set these two teams apart. And the decision making from Mestre has been pinpoint to take those opportunities on to force the saves. It's been what he has needed. Certainly it'll be a confidence booster if you can see this one over the line.
And ball out to Sane. Kicked into touch though, and well, with 5 to go until half-time, Mestre might fancy himself for a third here. Tell is in a very dangerous position. Well, maybe the first instance of keep ball we'll see, is no doubt Mestre has that final attack of the half at the forefront of his mind.
I was going to say, don't be surprised if we see more gamesmanship coming in than what we saw in the regular season. The regular season is one thing where there's points and there's goals all on the line. It's a very different thing when it's knockout football. You just need to see it out.
Build up is lovely here. Mane dummies one, tries to dummy another, but Pellegrini's there. Musiala not giving this one up. Kimmich will try and recover, but this will be in the final third here for Bayern. They wanted the final attack of this first half, which has featured, by the way, 4 goals. But in the end, they come back at them. Smalling out to Belotti. Into the third. 4th of 3 added on, and now the referee will blow his whistle. 4 goals in our first half, whereas we expected absolutely nothing less.
No, absolutely. And from what we have seen so far, it's kind of going as the form book would suggest. Certainly, if you were looking at this as a lay person just looking onwards, you would suggest that Bayern would be the main kind of protagonists of this story. And of course they have been. They've capitalised on their opportunities, they've made good work of their opportunities, and they've made those chances pay. On any other day, if those chances had gone wide, Stifler could be walking in here with a 1-0 lead to his name, but instead they've bounced kindly, gone to Mane, and there you go. So I think at the moment, Bayern Munich very much the happier of the two camps.
They certainly are in terms of scoreline. 3-1, we kick off the second half in Bayern's favour. It's just such an imposing figure when you look at the Bayern München camera here on our screens. It's quite the midfield, isn't it, that shape? They've definitely got the shape down, the 2 holding midfielders in the back and 3 up top.
Makes Mestre the goalkeeper if he's sat in the middle of the as well. But yeah, I mean, again, it just kind of provides almost a... It's almost like a ring of force. You sometimes see it where players will protect each other just before a penalty is about to be taken. Very much similar type of fashion here. You've got plenty of people around him. He hasn't got to worry about any kind of gamesmanship or kind of antagonising kind of actions from other teams. Instead, they're doing it by committee.
Here is your regular league scorers. You see Mestre and teammate Jose there down in 17th, and has a chance to maybe add to his knockout stage tally so far as well, with Mane getting to the byline. To scroll down a little bit further, Wes, to get to Stifler down there in 22nd.
Yeah, but we made this point as well in regards to Bayern as an attack comes through here for Roma. Is Pellegrini to Dybala.
Yeah, watch out for Dybala on that far side. Tricky footwork. That epic big-time card. Pellegrini with a cross, but Sommer does well.
Yeah, we were making the point off stream before we came live in terms of Bayern's goal scoring acumen, as it were, and it hasn't been quite apparent this season. But as we said, and as we spoke a little bit to Lutti, their coach, it was a case of it doesn't really matter about what's been and gone. If you save your goals for today, if they win 1-0 and they go and win the entire thing, I don't think anybody's going to care if you're a Bayern Munich fan.
Tell will give chase again. And there's 3 red shirts to aim for here. Ibanez clears, but although Mestre had Stifler beat in the goal-scoring charts, Stifler actually brought home more points. And, well, that's a lovely-looking ball to Mane. Tries to feed it back to Tell and comes off a Roma man for a corner.
It's the right idea to head that back into danger. It's just read, unfortunately, by Stifler's defenders. He has gone for a corner here, though.
Upamecano looks to be the target, but we'll have another chance at this, Mestre. And that's a lovely looking ball to Sane, and to Mane as well! The 3-goal lead is official now. Bayern 4, Roma 1. And with time ticking down, it could be Bayern moving on to match point.
It's that man again, Sadio Mane again. It's a wonderful deep ball. We'll see it here again. You see Sadio Mane just peels off at the back post, times his run to perfection, heads it down to the centre. Mane with a sweeping finish. And that will surely be that from Bayern Munich. Moved just at the right time. As Harry is miming to me an offside flag. It certainly had that about them. But the referee says no, and it is a goal that is given.
It's the Mestre end. He is in command of this quarter-final. 4 goals to 1. You could not have asked for more.
One thing to note as well, I believe we forgot to mention this, obviously the game update that came out recently has increased the substitutes bench to 13, which means that the team strengths have had to adjust. So again, for any of those wondering at home as to why they're seeing 2,700 as opposed to a 2,430, it's gone up to a collective strength of 2,730 and a base strength of 2,680. So again, just to keep you abreast of all of the different types of rule changes and the different types of impacts that even game updates can have. It's just to keep you up to date there, so you don't think that anybody's going to have any what's the word I was looking for?
Any ramifications?
Any kind of nullifying of results or anything like that. None of that will occur.
Yeah, no sanctions. Hopefully, we see on the knockout stage. We have, of course, our referees Sergio and Billy up there, keeping a stern eye on exactly what's happening. Cancelo beats Pellegrini. Mane again arriving.
Looks up for it today, does Mestre. Looks very, very up for it.
Corner potentially to make it 5. Mane is again in the mixer. Kingsley Coman into the area, but Smalling with good defensive duty. We said neither player had really taken a hold of the first half. The second half has definitely come by the way of Mestre as he looks on the warpath here.
Looks like he's kept his foot down here. And again, of those chances, and we talk about it in terms of being clinical, in terms of being decisive, when those chances come to you, you have to finish them. We have seen so many teams let leads go and let results go, all because they've not found the finishes when those chances have become apparent to them.
Yet another Bayern attack. Mane. His pass intercepted now. Is there a slither of hope here for Roma? Mestre just absolutely nullifying every attack Roma try and put together. We saw magic on match day 7 from Stifler, but the knockout stages so far have proven pretty cruel, and that's a lovely crossfield ball to Coman. To Mane! Bayern 5, Roma 1. magical from Mestre. Job done, on to game 2.
It's the Sadio Mane show. He seems to be the guy that is right there where you need it. Again, a chest of a touch from Kingsley Coman, not something you'd expect in those scenarios. Allows the defender almost to sail past him and allow Mane to be free in the middle. It's a brilliant finish again for Mestre. It's 5 for Mestre, it's 5 for Mane, it's 5 for Bayern Munich.
Stifler left absolutely dumbfounded by that attack. It says Alex Alguacil predicted pre-game, Bayern are cooking. They're in with a shout, of course, of finishing first in this competition on match day 7. They're proving why here. Lovely double touch there from Mane, has João Cancelo, and Tell! Oh, it's wide. I thought it was 6, but instead, Mestre spares his adversary here.
It's free-flowing football from Mestre at the moment. It's brilliantly well worked. First-time passes, first-time shots, just doesn't find the finish. And even at 5-1, he's disappointed with the fact that he's not put that one away. So that tells you the level that he's at today. And of course, if we're looking at it from a Bayern perspective, they will be delighted that they've got themselves off and running here.
Still a chance to make it 6. You can tell Mestre wants it. Kimmich. Oh, the referees spoiled the party there, but job done by Mestre. A commanding, impressive performance to start the knockout stages and put Bayern München on match point here in our first best of 3 of the day.
Yeah, and it was a phenomenal performance from him. Again, as we said, clinical in the times where he needed to be clinical. You'll see these opportunities that come there. It's not by luck, it's by design that you have put that shot into the goalkeeper and then waited and hoped for a deflection or hoped for a parry out to an on-rushing Mane. And again, he was well worth the 5-1 victory. Stifler, as you said, was just left dumbfounded. It was a great response from him, though. Despite going 2 goals down, he did have that little moment there with Tammy Abraham and that great ball movement with Belotti, but just wasn't enough to overcome what was coming back at him from a Bayern Munich perspective.
So many goals. I mean, 6 goals in game 1 will drive ourselves crazy, Wes, if we analyse every single one. What I can tell you is that is Mestre's biggest win of the season so far. A 4-goal margin. Beats his previous best, which was only 2. Very unlike Mestre, as we've seen from seasons past, even in co-op iterations. Likes to get amongst the goals. That is going to be a big confidence booster going forward if Bayern can survive this quarter-final.
It's a big confidence booster and it's a big statement of intent as well. Looking at how he performed there, it was cold as ice, clinical, wasn't really any emotion, knows that it's a long day. If, as we said, if they have those aspirations of getting to the final, knows it's a long day. You don't want to exert any energy, you don't want to exert anything too over the top at this point of the day because it's a long way to go. As we have to talk about it in terms of like fatigue, heat, all of those different things that were playing to the kind of the formula, as it was, of trying to get through to that final and win the whole thing. That is part of it.
Absolutely it is, and we can see who's taking the hot seat for game number 2. Mucha hit for Bayern München steps in and has the easier task of the 2. Captain Roma for AS Roma has really been their star man this season. Plenty of goals to his name. But thanks to that man on your screen, Mestre has a bit of a salvage mission to do here in quarter-final number 1. Mucha hit, renowned for his defensive capabilities, Wes. We've said it before. Why don't we recycle the old adage where it's potentially fire versus ice here. Irma, a very strong goal scorer, strong attacker, up against Mucha hit, who likes to nullify his opponents.
He's got 90 virtual in-game minutes to save Roma's season. Yes, the aspiration was top 6 when they first started here, but you'll know as well as I do that once you start to get into those periods and get into those environments, you'll start to think, wait a minute, we can go a little bit further here, we can do a little bit more. Irma has to win this game By hook or by crook, he has to win to keep Roma in it. Of course, Mukahit on the other side, we know his capabilities both on the defensive side of the ball and, more importantly, the offensive side of the ball. He's able to move the ball at pace, he's able to work quickly, and he's able to work efficiently. And that'll be something that Roma will need to take care of here. And I think if you're Roma, you need the first goal in this game just to set the tone, to say, wait a minute, slow down. We can do some damage here, and we can take a victory. That is what they need here. They need to set the pace.
Well, as you can see, kickoff has happened now in game 2 of quarter-final number 1. It is Bayern versus Roma. Bayern on match point, Roma on survival point here. And if there is a player that comes to mind when you think of knockout footballers, Belotti narrowly misses that one. I do think of the Roma captain. I think back to seasons previous in this competition, big games where he's been called upon, and of course back in the E-Euros in 2020, took Romania all the way to the semi-finals. He's proven he can do it there. Can he do it on this stage? Roma, quite frankly, need him to hit.
Well, the thing is, we know, looking at, given the time and we've spent casting over these individuals and casting over these games, we'll know that all of these players have the ability and have the level to do damage. It's just a case of who causes it first. Irma will need to tap into all of that experience and all of that know-how to get himself a victory here and to get his team into a tiebreaker scenario.
Mucha hit on the offensive. Cancelo on that far side won't get there before Ibanez. And if you're just joining us, we'll remind you throughout, best of 3s we're in now. No aggregate score, no points to be claimed, just a winner after every game. Pellegrini to the byline just takes it too far.
Just ran out of real estate to be able to do what he wanted to do there.
While we've spoken a little bit about Irma in knockout football, we've seen Mucha hit on the national stage as well for his home nation, Turkey. Has plenty of experience under his belt in this type of competition. It's about whether or not he can execute his game plans. That's what comes to mind when I think about Mucha hit. He's excellent defensively, but always has a plan B. So
it all depends on whether you can shake him out of that game plan. The issue is, of course, is that Mukahit's personality is somebody who just keeps their cool. He just keeps his cool. He'll keep ticking over. It's a little bit like the metronome on a clock almost. He will just keep ticking over as Abraham looks to find his way in here.
Irma with a snapshot deflects off the Bayern defence.
That's
this one had potential, Wes, for a really good chance for Roma.
Yeah, and to shake him out of that metronome state. That's why it is so important that Irma gets this first goal. Because if he settles into rhythm, Mukahit, it's almost impossible to play against him. And this will be a big opportunity here if you can make it pay.
Well, swings it in towards Abraham, as we've said. Headers are vital for the Englishman. Early cross here towards him again. I think he won that header, but just did not bounce in Roma's favour.
I think if you're Mukahit is that you kind of have a little bit of pressure off you. You know that Mestre's already gone out and won the first game. And you know that you have really got to push and you've just got to wait for a mistake. And as I've said on occasion before, playing Mukahit, it's a lot like playing with a viper or playing with a snake. Once it wraps himself around you and starts to suffocate the game away from you, you realise it's too late.
Roma on the prowl. That was an inviting one for Dybala to run on to as we approach the half-hour mark. We are in knockout football, so we will see extra time and penalties if they are so needed. Sadio Mane inside to Cancelo, but defensively Irma dots the I's, crosses the T's. Of course, the added question we have was about the contingent that Bayern have brought. Jay Victor last featured back on match day 2, if memory serves, so no doubt he'll be eligible if they need to call upon him later on. For now, though, Musha hit, trying to skip past the Roma defence.
Well, if you think about the conditions and you think about the levels of fatigue, it may just be an idea to have him along in case that fatigue sets in.
Defending to do here for Bayern. Kamara back to Belotti. Just sticks a toe in. Things starting to ramp up now at the end of the first half here in game 2. We're into the realms now where, as we trickle down towards half-time, both players on the stage, Wes, will be thinking about maintaining possession for that final attack of the half that we've seen so many times be incredibly valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be looking to have the last statement of the half. Here's Gnabry, Kimmich.
And Cancelo in the box as well, dispossessed.
Yeah, they'll be looking to have that last statement of the half. You can see 44 minutes on the clock here. It's quickly ticking away.
There will be 1 minute added time.
And the ball stayed in play for the majority of the half, so only 1 minute added on. Kimmich looking for Mane, far post, goes for the header! And on the stroke of half-time, who else but Mane to put Bayern in front, not for the first time in this quarter-final. Bayern 1, Roma 0 at a perfect time.
Something tells me that Bayern Munich have been working and working and working on this setup, because it always appears to be Mane who is the player who is left unmarked. Beautiful ball into the box, and again it's that last chance of the half, and instead of heading it backwards like we've seen Mestre do, instead Muki went no, I'm just going to head this at goal and see what happens. It's a great finish from Sadio Mane, and that is a big derailer if you are a Roma fan.
Just out of vision, the referee blew the half-time whistle. Now it's time for potential changes. You can see the 5 heads of Bayern München all just putting their heads together to try and figure out what changes are needed. I wonder if we can have a little listen here.
I'll say this as a man of experience: if there is a person who you want in your corner to talk you through a game plan and what you need to do next, it's none better than Lutti. If he played against him, it is an experience to say the least, and to have that backing you up is worth its weight in gold if you're FC Bayern Munich.
Second half underway. Bayern 1, Roma 0. And as you say, great to see Lutti here for the knockout stages. Haven't been able to see him nearly enough throughout the season. And someone's come a long way here. It's Belotti from downtown. That is a big mistake from the Bayern keeper. We've seen that before.
It's normally the other Bayern goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer. Normally, and that is what that is something you very rarely see. Goalkeeper comes out, doesn't quite gather it. As we'll see here, the ball is curling away, so he has to head it clear. And it's instinctive from Irma, but it's there, and it is an equaliser. Composure to not pull the trigger with the first player it comes to. Instead, lays it off, finds Belotti. Finds the goal. That's an equaliser.
Bit of a gift for Roma. But as a neutral, the goal from Irma sets us up really nicely here in this second half. Coming forward again with Dybala. Just flashbacks of Manuel Neuer in seasons previous. Abraham first to the punch, but I think he's offside here, yeah, by quite some distance. Manuel Neuer a couple of seasons ago. Still remember Eldridge O'Neill of Manchester United scoring not 1 but 2 from the halfway line.
He'll be sat home with a very bright smile on his face because he knows how that feels. He'll probably be looking at it and saying, well, it wasn't quite as far out as my ones. But yeah, I mean, you know, looking at that, it's a mistake, and it does give Roma a foothold. Here's Abraham trying to get it across to Dybala. It's back to Dybala. Here's Abraham, and it's cleared away by Lucas Hernandez.
Goretzka stepping in, and that's risky footwork, but it does the job. Gnabry will give chase here, but Ibanez should be there first.
The attendance for this match was
Fairly
71,550.
plain sailing for Bayern after that goal just before half-time here in game 2. Now München has to start again. On the other side for Roma, whereas of course it is that lifeline, and psychologically your first goal in a knockout stage can be arguably the most important.
Absolutely, and no better time to get it, because looking at the way that Roma had been playing, there wasn't really a lot in terms of opportunities to break down this Bayern Munich team, and it only came from a mistake, but it's a almost invaluable mistake for Roma to have taken control of and put the ball in the back of the net.
Substitution on the field. Number 22. Number 7.
Here is the restart. Still as you were, Bayern 1, Roma 1.
Number 42.
In game 2 of this best of 3. If Bayern win this one, then Roma are headed home. But as of now, they are still alive.
Anywhere will do if you're Roma at the moment. You almost get the sense that Urban's now trying to drag this game down into the trenches a little bit.
And you just wonder whether or not an opportunity might just open up for him here. It seems München so far in game 2 has struggled in the final third, and oftentimes when you give the ball away, counters like this can happen. Tammy Abraham, Dybala giving chase, but
almost
cleared by Sommer.
Almost the benefactor there. Dybala of a very heavy touch.
It's passes like those ones that just don't seem to be coming off a München here. You can tell the idea and the invention, but Roma's defending has been pretty solid following the goal conceded. Abraham, Belotti, both combining now. Dybala near side. Who can he find? 3, 4 shirts to aim for. But Goretzka's there.
We thought he maybe would have tried a bit of an audacious one there, given the fact he's on Dybala's favoured left foot.
Might come back at the Bayern defence here. It's gotten scrappy in this final 10 or so in-game minutes. If we're tied at the 90, we'll go to extra time. Lovely ball to Koeman. It's 3v2 here at the back if he plays his cards right. Koeman beats Ibanez. We're all queuing up here, but that's a vital intervention.
Good tackle there.
Second chance at the attack now for München. Tell. Koeman goes for a goal from distance, and Tell is arriving!
Had to go manual keeping there to make that save. Ball's not cleared thoroughly though. Here's Kingsley Koeman.
Koeman near side. Siege mentality now for Roma. München's third attack on the bounce. Kimmich. Mane looking for Kimmich again. Who can he find now? Spinazzola for company. It's the
Great defending again
the
from Roma.
latter who is called into action. Fourth bite of the cherry. Tell inside, muscled off the ball. The referee says no.
Still not gone.
Fifth attack now. Kimmich dispossessed. And now we're in the 90th.
The concentration that is on show here from both teams.
Chance for a winner though. Abraham through. Queued up the stunning strike. Why not?
I think he knew he was going to be caught, and I think that was the issue there. He knew he was going to be caught with Abraham, so he had to try and pull that trigger early.
And I think the referee has seen enough. In regular time, we are headed to 30 added minutes of extra time to try and separate these two competitors. What a second half that was. Some real siege defending from Roma.
Yeah, and the only reason we've got extra time is from a goalkeeping error, which is strange enough in itself. But we have extra time. Roma still has an opportunity. Roma are still in this. And now they're going to go to extra time, where now substitutions will become even more important. You know, you may not want to play your full hand early off the bench, of course. With your substitutions off the bench, you do have 5. So you don't really want to use all of them at the same time. As we said on Bayern Munich side of it, having that extended bench gives you a few more options to work with. Granted, they have to be at the very least a 75 overall on the bench. So yes, they might not be as well powered as your starting 11, but they certainly can cause some damage if you use them correctly.
Well, we're just kicking off the first half of extra time between Bayern and Roma.
Coming on the field.
1-1 after 90.
Number 23.
Is there a winner in this final 30, I wonder? Paulo Dybala brings it forward for Roma. And as time ticks on, Wes, you like to say it often, fatigue plays quite a key factor, and mistakes at this level, at this time, could be very costly indeed.
Yeah, both on console and off console, fatigue is paramount importance.
Tammy Abraham.
You have to manage it as well as you can.
It's been somewhat of an odd game from Roma, hasn't it? We're so used to seeing him score at least 2 goals.
I feel like there's been a bit of nerves from both players here, because I think both of them understand what's riding on it. It's from one side of it, you can put your team through to the semi-final, and on the other side of it, you're playing for survival. So I think there is nerves from both sides here.
Mucha coming forward with Tell. Nice turn. Musiala back heel to Mane.
Great read there from Smalling.
Smalling is called into action. Roma with 16 goals in the regular season. That's with missing 1 match day. So used to him being free-flowing, but here comes Mane. Is there any defending to do here? Mane tries to slide it across. That's expertly read from Roma at the expense of a corner.
So it's fine margins though, Harry. So it's fine margins. Mukahip might want to have that one back.
Bayern corner, looks like the outswinger. And with 0 minutes added on by our virtual referee. I think this first period of extra time is now in the books. Still cannot separate Bayern Munich and AS Roma. Our 2 gladiators on the stage, giving it everything here.
There's certainly one to watch out for here. You can see the types of substitutions that both these teams have at their disposal. See the differences in tactics that they're employing as well. And as I said, both of them looking a little bit jaded by the fact that they've been dragged into extra time here.
Of course, at this time, Wes, you not only have to consider the second period of extra time, but also what comes afterwards if they're still level.
Exactly. The dreaded penalty shootout, or as I like to call it, save, shoot or miss. It very much is going to be that if they can't be split here.
Substitution in progress.
I don't think the name penalty shootout is going to go out of fashion anytime soon, but if it does, Wes...
I'm working on contingencies.
We've got a backup ready to go. Second period of extra time underway. We need a winner from this game. If it's Bayern, they advance to the semi-finals. A date with Destiny and FC Barcelona awaits. If Roma win, we are going to a third and final game to decide who will take that third semi-final spot. Manchester United and Barcelona already waiting. Irma's coming forward here, but Blind smartly across.
Interestingly enough, this may just play into the favour of Barcelona, casting a mind forward to next. Minds forward to the semi-final. It may benefit them. The longer these games go on, the more energy that's been exerted and the more concentration that is being given away there. So
that's a good knock-on from Mane. Far side. Mancini for company. Just needs to wait for a couple of Bayern shirts, or does he? Tell knocks it back to Mane. This is a great passage of play from Mucha hit, but only a corner rewarded in the final 5 in-game minutes of the second period of extra time.
He had to get creative there. Of course, danger is not over.
Is there a moment of glory waiting Mucha hit here? A goal from open play surely would see Bayern through with a clean 2-0 victory.
Interestingly as well there, one of the tactics we very rarely talk about players to join attack. That's to put more bodies in the box at set pieces. You can see De Ligt, Gravenberch all being employed there from a Bayern Munich standpoint.
Here we go. Towards De Ligt, near post. Pavard, that's a very heavy touch. And now El Shaarawy. The counter not working in Irma's favour. You can see the frustration. Time ticking down now. Is there a winner from either side? Tell with the hold-up play. 3 red shirts flying forward. Choupo-Moting's one of them.
We've seen him be hero for Bayern Munich so many times, Choupo-Moting, within these competitions. There's no time left here, though. Choupo-Moting to Tell.
It's Tell. Choupo-Moting, Kimmich, far side. Who can he find? It's Tell! Bayern Munich are into the semi-finals. It's jubilation. It's heroism from Mucha. Surely no time left. And what a goal to seal it at the very last attack. Bayern are into the semi-finals.
You can hear the anticipation from the VIP zone. They could see what was coming. It's a beautiful ball into the box. It's neatly headed down. It's great work for Mucha to just find that opportunity. And it's a brilliant flying header from Tell. And you'll see there the release of emotion.
And the final whistle has just been blown. That was the last kick of the game, and Bayern have punched their ticket into the semi-final. What a performance by Mestre in game 1. And Mucha hit. He had to dig deep, Wes, but dig deep he did. Heroics at the last. Bayern are through.
He got dragged into an extra time period that some would say didn't deserve to be in because of the goalkeeping error. But Mucha kept his cool when the pressure was on, and he finished with aplomb right at the last moment before he entered the penalty shootout. Instead, he walks away and has sealed a semi-final date with FC Barcelona.
commiserations, of course, to AS Roma. Their season ends here. We saw some fantastic moments from them, especially on match day 7. Gagliardo punching their ticket to the knockout stages, and then, of course, Stifler's famous win against their previously undefeated Eterito. They bow out, though, Semra, here in the quarterfinals. There was only ever one team destined to move to the semi-finals, and this time around, it was Bayern München. We can see the replays, and as Wes said, it was somewhat of a gift from the Bayern keeper, but they all count the same, Semra, and it is Bayern moving on.
Of really two different games, wasn't it? In the first one with Mestre absolutely steamrolling Stifler into opposition. He came out swinging, he flew out of the traps. It was some really exciting flair and fantastic football in terms of the way that he was attacking. In the second game, completely different story. It was decided by the final kick of the game. But really exciting stuff then if you're a fan of the German outfits. Unfortunately for AS Roma, it means that they are going to be sent home then. And so we have Mujahid, the captain of FC Barcelona. Sorry, not FC Barcelona, that's who they're playing next, FC Bayern Munich, who is with Weza now and talk to us a little bit about what we just saw.
Thanks very much, guys. As you mentioned, I'm here with Mujahid from FC Bayern Munich. First of all, congratulations, semi-finalists. Left it give us a bit of drama, didn't you?
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty dramatic, my game. Mestre played really great. He was in the control of the whole game. Great win. And I played against Urma, one of the best players, really, and one of the best performers of the league. So I was expecting a tough game, and it was tough, but I managed to stay in the game, and I took my last chance well, and we managed to win, so we're really happy to be a semi-finalist.
Yeah, you certainly did. Left it very late, but the moral of the story is you will now have a semi-final with FC Barcelona. Just something for me and Harry, because we can see how many of you guys are here from FC Bayern Munich. Tell us about how important it is to actually have the whole team here on finals day.
It's always great to have extra support and like some outside eyes watching the game, and they can see some things that you cannot see during the game, and they can give you some advices. It's always good. And against Barcelona, I couldn't play against them in the regular league, so I'm really excited to play against them. But hopefully this time we will be the winner.
Yeah, certainly you can see that excitement coming from you. Do you think you guys can make the final? Do you think you can take down Barcelona?
Exactly, because our only goal is to win the trophy. So against everyone, we will give our best. We will be on the stage to win all the games. So hopefully 2-0 wins and we can get the trophy.
Fantastic to hear the confidence from you. I'm sure that runs through the entirety of your team. Guys, back to you guys on the desk.
Thank you.